Philippine Politics Through the Ages by R.J. Dimla of J 2011. History of the barangay system before the Spanish occupation. Before the arrival of Magellan and the Spaniards, Dato Sultans and Rajas ruled over the Philippine Islands, each with superior armed forces and an extraordinary form of civilization. These leaders did not only act as the presidents during their time, but they also acted as military leaders and strategists. In their barangay, there is an existing form of hierarchy which symbolizes the social status of a resident of their barangay. The hierarchy starts with the slaves or the aliping sa gigilid, which is a type of slave that can be sold or traded with anything his or her owner desires. They are usually the war slaves whom they have captured from an enemy tribe. The aliping namamahay is a slave that acts like a mayordoma or the head of the household. They are also the trusted servants. Timawas are the free citizens. They are the workers and traders, while the babaylans are the witch doctors whom they believe possess mystical powers. And obviously, Dato Sultans and Rajas are the overall head. Leadership reform during the Spanish era. During the start of the Spanish occupation, the Spaniards decided to relocate existing barangays into resettlements. The structure of the newly formed civilization was sorted by wealth. The closer you are to the church, the wealthier and the more powerful you are. From the head of everything, the datos were downgraded to a lower position, and it is because of the Spaniards' racism against Filipinos. And now, they are appointed as the cabeza de barangay. Spanish politics, the national government. The King of Spain appoints a pure-blooded Spaniard for the Governor-General position. The person is always a peninsular, so that this person remains loyal to the motherland. As the Governor-General, he spearheads the Supreme Court, the armed forces, and the Royal Treasury. Local government. Alcalde Mayors act as the provincial head. He is usually an insulares or a Spaniard born in the Philippines. It is also in towns and rural places where the church played a very vital role, and it is because the Filipinos are naturally religious. Conclusion to the Spanish era. During the Spanish occupation, we can clearly see that the positions are biased to the Spaniards, and it is because of the racism against Filipinos, whom they think are inferior and uneducated. They have reformed everything from the structure of the towns to the laws. Basically, the laws were parallel to the laws of the motherland. Revolutionary government of the 1898. It was this time when the very first Philippine Constitution was written in the Baraswain Church in Malolos, Bulacan. The authors were different invited representatives from the provinces around the Philippines. Later on, Emilio Aguinaldo became the very first president, and it was during the declaration of our independence in Kawit, Cavite. During his time, he declared a revolutionary government, since there are still threats from the Spanish forces. This form of government gave more power to the president and the right to dictate. American occupation. During the start of the American era, the Philippines was given the title of a Commonwealth of the USA, which means we are under the US government. Yet, we have our own leaders and we can make some of our decisions on our own. This is a more liberated form of government compared to the Spanish era, since the ideals of democracy is being followed. The bicameral system is a form of government in which there is another group in charge of the legislation. They are called the upper and lower house, also known as the Senate and Congress. This system was followed until the early part of President Marcos's regime. The Japanese occupation. During the Second World War, the Philippines is being run by the Japanese Imperial Forces. They took control of everything and appointed Jose Laurel to act as the president, yet everything he does is controlled and dictated by the Japanese. His government was dubbed as a puppet republic because our government is like a puppet being manipulated by the Japanese invaders. Post-war era. After the war, our country was severely devastated. After MacArthur's turnover of power to Osmeña, Rojas became the very first President of the Republic of the Philippines. It is a new and reformed government since the Philippines gained independence. The form of government is closely parallel to the Commonwealth government. It is also this time when mass media became a very powerful tool in Philippine politics. The Marcos regime. During the reign of President Marcos, he intensified tax collection since he tried to stabilize the financial position of the government. During his second term, he started a constitutional convention to rewrite the 1935 Constitution. A year later, he declared martial law and became a dictator, and he said it is to save the republic against the NPA. Since then, Marcos took control on almost everything. He even made our government parliamentary, yet he still remained and acted as the boss, besides the lower position. After Benigno Aquino's assassination, the People Power Revolution sprung, which led to his ousting as president. Martial law definition. Temporary superimposition of military government over civil government. Constitutional reform of Aquino's administration. A month after assuming her position, President Cory Aquino proclaimed a revolutionary government and suspended the 1973 Constitution. She proposed the 1987 Constitution, or the Freedom Constitution, and was approved in the same year of 1987. It was during her administration where the major changes in and out of the Constitution were organized and being done. And in fact, the Constitution during her time is still the Constitution being used by our country today. Thank you for watching this slideshow. I hope you enjoyed and learned a lot from it. Thank you.